When the reviews for Crimson Desert first dropped, it was pretty mixed, and it was especially bad on the part of the Steam reviews from the users. But in the intervening days, the developer has heard you and they've been making updates, and now it is a pretty positive outlook on Steam. So let's go over to Forbes and Paul Tassi, who writes Crimson Desert reviews go from 51% to 80% positive in 4 days. There are many stories about games that launch poorly, but through months or years of hard work, managed to craft something worthy of its initial hype, be it No Man's Sky or Cyberpunk 2077. I can't say I've ever seen a game do that in a weekend. Crimson Desert launched late Thursday. Now, on Tuesday morning, its Steam reviews have gone from 51%, which was mixed, right at launch, to 80%, very positive, a 39% gain in just around 4 days. Why did this happen? How could a game shift sentiment that quickly? Two main reasons. One, people played for more than 2 hours. While everyone hates the idea that a game may take 6 to 10 hours to get good, many players who bothered spending $70 push past that and have discovered that what I've been saying all along, that this is actually a really good game. Those who rated it low at the start gave up during its onboarding, maybe some technical issues or a dislike for its controls or early missions, hence the very low initial scores. But as I've maintained, it is just a wildly different experience from an hour to 10 through 200, and many are now starting to click with the game. 2. Crimson Desert immediately patched its biggest issues. Pearl Abyss patched problems with Crimson Desert during the review period on day 1, and now, this past weekend, has fixed a large number of problems and almost all of the game's biggest pain points outside of, well, its story. Among them include way more fast travel points, the added city and base ones from our review period, thank God, but now they've scattered even more around. Big changes to control responsiveness. The game just feels way different to play with no more input lag from everything from jumping to combat. The addition of camp storage. Now, instead of needing to hoard everything in your on-character inventory, there is a Greymane base storage that now doubles your capacity. Combat buffs to players and nerfs to bosses. The game nerfs some of its most frustrating bosses, especially those in the main quest. Blocking progress. It also gave universal buffs to food healing, making essentially all fights easier. Alterations to confusion, mechanics / puzzles. There were many complaints about unclear directions in some of the very early puzzles, which have now changed. Systems like the memory vision system are now more straightforward. There are more minor gameplay and technical fixes past that, but those are the major ones. And fast travel, inventory, and gameplay feel changes are transformative for the entire game. But one bonus, a community has formed. Pearl Abyss told me that they wanted this to be a community game, which I didn't quite understand as it was a purely single-player experience, but over the past weekend, my feed was filled with advice for players and crazy hidden finds on the map that were being shared with others as they start to discover all the secrets and cool gear and hidden bosses on the map. It's helped it feel more fun. Someone mentioned the other day that other critics and I have played the worst version of the game. That's true. Inventory was tiny. They gave us dozens more slots during review. We couldn't teleport to cities or games. Bosses were brick walls. Fast travel was awful. I suspect this is why the game had lower scores than many expected, though I feel somewhat vindicated by my very high score, as I really could see the diamond in the rough there. But I don't blame my fellow critics or players who were frustrated early on. It is insane that Pearl Abyss didn't catch these sweeping issues before launch, some of the most obvious needed changes I've ever seen. You don't have base storage, you can't teleport to your own camp. Come on, man. There's still more fixes to come. Let's talk about the alternate characters, but for now, go out there and experience what practically is a new game. So I think I have to give a lot of credit to Pearl Abyss. One, they had AI art in there that they apparently forgot to take out. Given the fact that they took it out, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt there. And 2, they really, really seem like they are committed to making this an improved experience. They want this to be as good as it can be, and they're taking people's feedback, which is not something that a lot of games do very often, especially single player games. What you get at first is kind of what you get. Maybe they'll fix some bugs, but they won't drastically overhaul things in any way. And I do like that Crimson Desert is doing that. It makes me want to buy it more than I have before. And I'm not the only one who likes it. As we head over to Tech for Gamers and Shamir Sarfazaz, who writes, Pearl Abyss stock price goes up by 24% due to Crimson Desert's impressive sales. Following a messy launch marred with mixed reviews, performance issues, and fan criticism, Crimson Desert has managed to turn the tide in just a few days. Developer Pearl Abyss has paid special attention to fan feedback, updating the game with patches immediately. As a result, the open world title has risen to a positive rating on Steam after opening with a score worse than Dragon Age: The Veilguard. Now, due to Crimson Desert returning to the good graces of players, the stock price of Pearl Abyss has also seen a massive surge. Why it matters. Pearl Abyss has showcased how fan opinion can be changed by paying attention to the community and fixing the issues they have responsibly and swiftly. Following the commercial success of Crimson Desert, Pearl Abyss's stock has increased a whopping 23.59% after the Korean stock market opened today. The publisher's stock value initially went up by 27.76% before stabilizing. Just recently, Crimson Desert officially passed 3 million copies sold worldwide, despite opening to a mixed reception. Hence, it's no surprise that developers' stock has shot up by such a high margin, even though the open world title has been embroiled in controversies. Due to Crimson Desert's roller coaster release week and underwhelming reception, Pearl Abyss has initially lost 30% of its stock price on the market. However, the game has recovered really well by addressing concerns like AI-generated art swiftly and releasing updates to improve aspects like janky controls and hard bosses. Moreover, developers are also working on the lack of support for Intel Arc GPUs and consistently asking fans to report any bugs or other problems with Crimson Desert on their portal. So, I think people love to shit on games, but they also love a comeback. And, I think that this is one of those games that is going to have a long tail. I think that if people aren't going to buy it right now, because, maybe they don't have the time to sink into it or they just don't want to spend the money, when it goes on sale, this will be a huge hit with people looking to get the most bang for their buck. Already, it seems like they're going to have a lot of bang for their buck with this one being like 200 hours if you want to complete it. So I think that this is good news. It feels like Pearl Abyss is doing all the right things, saying all the right things, and it'll be really interesting to see where this ends up in a couple weeks and how it's looked back on like a year, whether it's like people care about the initial launch or people just completely forget it, which I think probably will be, the more likely case. So what are your thoughts about this? Let me know in the comments. Have you been playing Crimson Desert? If so, what do you think? Let me know there. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. We have new videos coming out all the time here on the channel. And make sure you check out our other channels, which include We Eat Everything, where we cover video games in the form of video essays and video game reviews, our sports channel, Wicked Sports, and our podcasting channel, Better Radio. Again, thank you so much for your time, and I will see you in the next one.